Everybody these days is worried about the flu. Anytime anybody sneezes or coughs near us, we back away. We see people wearing masks. If you've been in our building the last couple of weeks, you know they have little hand sanitizer dispensers all around our building here, the community center. We're all concerned about the flu. Is it the regular flu? Is it the H1N1 flu? Should we get a flu shot? Should we get both flu shots? A lot of questions. Dr. Thomas Hirose is with us today. Dr. Hirose, everyone's concerned about the flu. Influenza, we've heard it given names, we've heard it given numbers, we've heard it given letters of the alphabet. Kind of give us an overview. What flu is, it occurs every year, really, the influenza.
Yes, the flu is a viral illness. It's an RNA virus, and it's actually one of the top 10 severe diseases that can lead to illness and death. And so strongly advised to get immunizations, vaccinations against influenza. There's 3 types: influenza A, influenza B and C, but it's really the influenza A that we worry the most about.
And that's the standard regular flu shot that most seniors and most people get, whether it's through their workplace or at the senior center, from their doctor, at a community site. I've even seen ones where you drive through your car, you stick your arm out, and they stick it in your arm and you drive away.
That's correct. And it's such a big and important issue. As much as 40,000 people die each year of regular viral flu.
And we hear that seniors especially should get the regular flu shot this year.
Yes.
Flu tends to, I guess, morph or modify or change over the years, and they're always worried about getting the mixture correctly. They obviously can't inoculate us against all types of flu, so they want to inoculate us against the most common types. We've heard of bird flu, we've heard of Asian flu, we've heard of Spanish flu over the years, and we understand that back in the teens and 20s, millions of people died from influenza, not just in this country, but worldwide.
The most famous pandemic was called the Spanish flu, Spanish influenza, of 1918. It actually started in Arkansas, and in World War II, when the troops were deployed to Europe and Asia, then it was spread throughout the world. It actually affected as many as 100 million deaths. And it was an unusual type of virus in that it, you could say that it mutated, and that unlike the current seasonal flu, it attacked otherwise young, healthy men in the military. The peak incidence for those people was 25 years old. You're right, the challenge with influenza is that it mutates. And interestingly enough, the natural host in the environment are waterfowl, it's birds. And it's fortunate that when it infects birds, the birds to man infection is very, very rare, very uncommon. But that's the hot item, the various strains that the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, is watching so that they can predict what type of mutated virus to protect against each year.
It's kind of almost in a way humorous, because they use eggs to make the influenza vaccines. And of course, one of the great folk cures for the cold and flu is, of course, chicken soup.
Chicken soup.
So they bring it to us, but they help us get over it as well. It's kind of a strange deal. So how do we get the flu? Where does it come from? Does it come from the air? Does it come from the ground? How do we pass the flu?
If I can begin the story, since we know that it starts in the bird, but it's not very infectious, the route is then into the pig. And when it combines with the pig virus is very infectious to man. And then once we get it, it is so contagious in the air, from sneezing, from coughing, and from surfaces. So everyone needs to be careful how to control nasal discharge, mucus, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we've all seen the sneeze guards on salad bars, but we need to have sneeze guards, maybe our own personal lunch as well. We're going to start seeing people, like in Japan, wearing masks, perhaps?
That's correct. And there is a suggestion in school-age children that if you have to sneeze and you don't have a handkerchief or a Kleenex, to sneeze into or cough into your elbow, because that keeps your hands.
I know my granddaughter has gotten good at that. She does that very effectively, and chastises you if you don't do that. You know, those of us that go into fast food restaurants, there'll always be a little square sign in there, a tile, advising the staff to wash your hands. Lave las manos, it might say also. We understand washing our hands and using these hand sanitizers is some of the best protection.
And they work very, very well. If you want a little memory thing, when you wash your hands, you should sing to yourself twice, happy birthday. And that's the right amount of time to get as much as the things off as you can.
Right. My suggestion is you sing it to yourself, though. If you sing it out loud, you might might have other issues going on in your life. All right, some symptoms. We think we might have the cold, we might have the flu, it might be sinus, it might be allergy. How do we know what's what?
Now, it's very important to keep the common cold distinct from the influenza virus, and anyone who's had the flu knows how bad it was. So the things that we look for is fever, and the virus destroys the lining of the throat and the lungs, so you have a very sore throat, and then you have this cough. So if it's rapid onset, you feel aches and pains, and you have fever and cough, try not to infect other people and try to get evaluation very quickly.
And I know our company sent out a memo, 4 or 5 weeks ago now, saying, we appreciate you being, working wounded, as they say, but playing wounded is not a good idea at work, and please stay home if you're sick.
And that's very important because this virus is so infectious. Now, when these symptoms do appear, there are some antiviral medications that are available. One's called Tamiflu.
Tamiflu, we've heard of that, yeah.
The other one is Relenza, and they're most effective if they're administered within the first 48 hours.
All right.
Yes.
So if you're sick, if you really think you have the flu, check with your doctor, and they can get you on those right away.
But the most important message that I can give is a 10-letter word that starts with P and ends with N. That's prevention. So everyone can go on Google, and there's a site that shows you where your flu vaccine clinics are currently, and that's so important.
I think we have that available on the air, but we'll mention this is actually what the site looks like, and it actually gives you, this is Paul zoomed in on it, uses Google Maps, and this is flu shots. He put in our zip code here. So that shows you where they might be available locally. And here's Laguna Woods, Laguna Hills, and some different places. Looks like Vaughn's, Pavilions have those available. Both the seasonal flu shots is the red or the orange pinkish one there, and then the blue is the H1N1. And then we have a purple that is both. So there's some of the places available. Through the county of Orange, some pharmacies have them as well. So he's going to show the different places around here to get one. Again, those are available locally, and you might want to call ahead and plan ahead on those and check it out as well. Some doctors have both vaccines. Some doctors only have one or the other.
Yes.
Again, check with your family doctor, but if not, some of these sites might be appropriate. There's the Vaughn's on El Toro Road, and it looks like they have just the seasonal flu shot.
Yes.
And again, anybody in our community, 55 or over, should have a seasonal flu shot.
That's correct. The actual mark is 50 years old or
right.
older. Yes.
Now, as far as H1N1, my understanding is they're starting at the younger age. Pregnant women, little kids, 20 to 40-year-olds, and then 40 to 64-year-olds is like the next group.
And yes, and to add to that, the targeted is 6 months or older to the age of 25. And it's partially to cover that middle group that was so affected in the pandemic before.
Right.
Yes.
You've given us some good information, and again, we hope nobody gets the flu. If you do, stay home, don't share, and when in doubt, wash your hands. Check with your doctor about any of those flu shots. And again, it sounds like the government's going to be putting more money into this in the future to do more research on the various types of flus and various ways to prevent it.
Yes.
Dr. Hirose, as always, we thank you for joining us. Good to have you on the program today. So good information coming away from Dr. Thomas Hirose. We urge you to give him a call if you want to find out more answers to your medical questions. Of course, he works right here locally in our community. We'll be back with more news and more guests as we continue with today's show. Stay with us.
Dr. Mark Morin, retired physician and patient at the Laguna Hills Coumadin Clinic.
Coumadin is a very effective drug and tricky to control.
If you're on Coumadin, you need to be evaluated by a physician every 3 to 4 weeks. We draw blood in the office and have your results in 5 minutes.
I am seen by a real doctor who evaluates, charts, and controls my doses so I can stay healthy, active, and playing tennis. Be smart and in control at the Laguna Hills Coumadin Clinic.